Good morning, Chavra. Today is Yud Aleph Nissan. We're learning the Tanya first. Happy birthday, Rebbe. Happy birthday, Levi Kasowitz. And Mazel Tov on your Bar Mitzvah. We're on page 78 in the Chayenu. And the flow is as follows. Depending on the intensity of your devotion, your kavanah, your davening, your service of Hashem is elevated to the higher realms. However, if there's no devotion, if there's no kavanah, then your service does not have wings. It's like a bird without wings. Okay, it still exists, still accomplished the mitzvah, but it doesn't soar to the sky. In today's lesson, Torah mitzvah is performed non-consciously by rote. Let's say you're half asleep because you fabrang all night. Not that you were up all night doing nothing. You were fabrang all night, whatever it is. And you were so tired, but you wanted to wake up on time, put on tefillin. You know how to do it like in your sleep, practically. And by the way, half the days, even if we did sleep, we put the tefillin on like sort of automatically. That's not good because we're not having kavanah. That's just the tefillin as an example, but there are many mitzvahs that we might do, rushing through them and rushing through life. So unfortunately, they get stuck. They don't get the highest, they don't rise up to the level that they could rise up to. So alternatively, serving Hashem with devotion and concentration, kavanah, for the sake of Hashem is only possible when one feels for Hashem. You have to feel it in your heart. Just as fulfilling the wish of a fellow is motivated by one's care for them. Somebody tells you something like, I'm happy to help you out. I'm happy to do this for you. Take that off the scissor, please. The Alter Rebbe now proceeds to amplify his previous statement. This inability of one's divine service to ascend to the spheres applies not only where one's motive for engaging in Torah mitzvahs is actually sheloi lishma, not for its own sake, meaning for some ulterior motive, chas v'shalom, in which case one is actually serving himself and not Hashem. If you're learning Torah because you want to brag how much you know, then you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for the mitzvah. Like Moshe Kosevatihi, some Oisi mitzvah noshim lemada. It also applies even if, as the pasuk describes it, they fear their fear of me was like commandments of men done by rote. They're doing it because they feel they have to, or they're scared not to, or they think they're going to get in trouble. Pirush machmas hergel shehurgal bikat nusay, meaning that one serves Hashem out of habit acquired in his youth. That's what he's used to. That's what happened since he's a kid. That's what his father told him to do, so that's what he did. Having been trained and taught by his father and teacher to serve Hashem, out of fear, sadly, the kids come home from yeshiva. So if the yeshiva is like experience is like, do this, do that, otherwise you're going to get a knas. Have kids like that, right? So then when they come home during the break, they don't want to learn. They don't want to do anything that they did in yeshiva because it's a bad experience. They're just being told to do it. They feel like being forced to do it. That's what I beg my son's teacher. Don't give punishments. Give rewards for doing good. I probably should say that off the recording, but I have a lot what to say about that. But anyway. As soon as we're done, we're gonna go off recording. I'm gonna talk to you about it. It's impossible to serve Hashem truly without arousing one's natural love and fear. By bringing them out of the concealment of the heart into revelation, at least somewhat, the best as possible. Just as one does not do something for his fellow, carry out his friend's will unless he loves him or he fears him. Somebody asks you to do him a favor, so either if you're not close with the person, you have no connection, you're just going to say, no thanks, ask someone else. Or if you're afraid this guy's going to threaten you or hurt you, you're going to do it out of fear. Or if you're a really good friend, like Rabbi Rosenblum, then he's happy to do it for me, right? Or me to him. So too, it's impossible to act truly for Hashem's sake, solely in order to carry out His will, unless if you do something for Hashem, it's not going to go unless you think of how much you love Hashem or fear Hashem to some degree. You don't want to get punished, or you're doing it out of love, and you think about it in your mind and your thoughts and your heart, at least a little bit. So one who observes the mitzvah out of habit, however, lacks even this minimal arousal. Because if you're not thinking about it, you're not putting your mind to it, then there's not going to be any emotions. You're just going to do it like as if it's unconscious behavior. We always talk about this. You ever drive down the road and you're like, oh my gosh, I missed the exit. Why? Because I've been driving for miles. And I'm driving because I know how to drive well. And I'm not even like looking at the signs. I'm not paying attention. You forget where you're going. You're talking to somebody on the phone, or you're listening to something. You're completely distracted. You're completely distracted. For Furthermore, the arousal of love alone, without the arousal of at least the lower level of fear of Hashem, which is the natural love, which is in every single Jew, is not called service, as we'll explain later. So the takeaway for today is you can perform an act because this is how you were trained. But then you could perform an act because you want to fulfill Hashem's will and desire. Either you're doing it automatically because that's what you're told to do, and you just do it, or you do it and you think about it a little bit. So either you do it because you're feeling guilty and you don't want to get in trouble, or you do it because it makes your Father in heaven proud. Okay, that's it for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.